fuck is up, everybody? This is Infamous A, aka Infamous Review 617, and I'm here to do a review on an album that just came out recently. It's not on iTunes yet, and I was gonna wait, but I just couldn't wait any longer, and it's by my favorite, or one of my favorite artists, one of my biggest inspirations, Kanye West. Now, this album, called The Life of Pablo, or formerly known as So Help Me God, then Swish, then Waves, now finally, basically on the release date, became The Life of Pablo. People have been waiting for this album to come out basically ever since Yeezus dropped, because people weren't very thrilled with Yeezus. I've spoken about how I feel about Yeezus before. I didn't hate it, but I knew he had a lot more to bring. And on this album, he really brought out a lot of different sides of himself, and I really fucking enjoyed it. This album had lots of features from Kendrick Lamar, Rihanna, Kid Cudi, The Dream, Chance the Rapper, Frank Ocean, Andre 3000, etc., vice versa. This album starts off with the song Ultralight Beams, which really brought out some different sides of Kanye. It was a good opening track, and I definitely think there were some lyrics in there that definitely showed more of who Kanye was. In Ultralight Beams, he had a line about praying for Paris and praying for the parents. Also, in other songs, he really shows his more sensitive side. And I believe FML, which had The Weeknd in it, who I thought was fantastic. This is one of my songs off the album. Kanye showing not only can he rap, not only is he a great producer, but shows he's a great songwriter as well. He said in FML that, he'd do anything for the ones he loved, and he'll do whatever he can for people to see the layers of his soul. And also on this album, he also shows his cocky side as well, which I do like to see from Kanye. What was good about Kanye being cocky and also sensitive and being also lyrical and just a ton of different things, being an overall artist, is that unlike Yeezus, the cockiness wasn't slathered all over the project and shoved in your fucking face. I do love the braggadocious Kanye, but he balanced it out very well. In Freestyle 4, he's talking about fucking girls in different places. In the song with Chris Brown called Waves, another great track, it was a banger for sure, says, "I'm the one that your bitch like, she get the dick like, oof!" Seeing this braggadocious side of Kanye, I did expect to some degree, which was fine by me because I like it if done properly. Excuse me. He took that side of Kanye from Yeezus, also had some song topics from A Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, with even a bit of College Dropout, with songs like No More Parties in LA, acknowledging people never would have thought I would have rapped like this again, something like that. Did acknowledge that, also acknowledges that in the little skit acapella I Love Kanye, acknowledges how people feel or felt about him, saying, "I love how Kanye was like this. I wanted to meet Kanye. I wanted to be Kanye. I wanted to something Kanye." Just a lot of things about loving Kanye or not loving Kanye. Just acknowledges how he knows how people fucking feel about him, and he doesn't give a shit. Kanye talks about a lot of topics relevant to him that I really think he should have addressed in this type of manner, opposed to spazzing on the news. He even said, "I say the right shit at the wrong time" on Feedback, which is one of my favorite tracks on the album as well. Great song, super banger. Says, "I've been out of my mind a long time. I know, I shouldn't even bother with these gossiping, no pussy getting bloggers." Also says on that song, the more fame he got, the crazier he got. Also talks about in that same exact song of talking about all this crazy shit, says he's talking about how cops shoot black people with their arms up. They're shooting us with their arms up, and that's what they taught us. Just a lot of relevant topics, and like I said, talked about Paris, spoke about his family, just a ton of mixture of topics. There were a lot of songs, because I know this album was supposed to come out one day, but he wanted to add more to it, added, push back the date. Again, there was this remix of the song Facts, which I reviewed before. The remix on this is absolutely incredible. It is such a banger, and I absolutely love it. So much better than the original. I can't stop bumping it in my headphones. Just a great remix. Not the best lyrical song, but once again, had his sensitive side, had his cocky side, had his preachy side. Now for the bangers, and I thought that song was one of the more likable songs on the album. A song I definitely could have skipped off this album was Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. Decent words, but I really didn't care too much for this song. But Part 2 followed it, and Part 2 had absolutely nothing to do with Part 1. Nothing, unless I'm missing something. This Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, I don't even know what genre you could put that under. Part 2 is just strictly trap. Had Designer in it, which is a new artist off of Good Music. And I did like that song. It was pretty short. A lot of the songs on this album were short. The song that followed Part 2 was Famous, which featured Rihanna. It had Swizz Beatz, one of my favorite producers, on the production. This was a pretty good overall song. I definitely liked it. Not one of my favorites, but I definitely liked this song. Rihanna did a great job singing in this song. Swizz Beatz, again, great performance on the production. Kanye and the lyrics lyrics saying, Kanye made that bitch famous. Now that bitch is nameless. Also says that him and Taylor Swift could still be having sex. I've read articles about that line. I don't even know what to think of that line. But I guess it's just Kanye being Kanye. And like he said in the song, name a genius who ain't crazy. I could have really done without the two songs, Lowlights and Highlights. Lowlights is kind of boring to me. I didn't really see anything about that song that stood out. And Highlights is without a doubt my least favorite song on the album. Very mainstream approach, having Young Thug on the song. Once I saw he was featured, I was so not interested. And even with Ty Dolla $ign and Real Friends, which I reviewed before, they did mesh well, and Real Friends was a great song. Young Thug just should have not been on this fucking album in the first place. Kanye did have some of his own singing with auto-tune on this album, which was part of the approach of the album, along with the bars, along with, you know, the storytelling and everything else I've already covered. Also having other people sing, like I said before, Rihanna, The Weeknd, Chris Brown, Kid Cudi. I'm not too big on Kid Cudi singing. The Dream, you name it. And some of the features I think really did well. Kendrick did amazing. Chance the Rapper to me stole the show on Ultralight Beams. I really think that the features, unlike some other albums, like in some of Game's albums, I think the features on this album, I think helped out Kanye a lot. The singles going into this album really did get me more excited for the album. I tried to go in it with low expectations because all I've heard, oh, this is Kanye's best work. This is better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This is this, it's that. So I tried to go in with low expectations, but he did drop some great singles. Facts and Wolves. Facts was remixed. You know, we all heard the original version of Facts. Mixed reactions. Wolves, I thought was a great track. And to me, he got Frank Ocean on the album version. To me, the original version with Vic Mensa and Sia was infinitely better than the version that made it on the album. Still a good song. I enjoyed some of Kanye's singing. He added his own verse, which did have meaning to it. I liked the lyrics in that part. But, I don't know why he changed that fucking version of Wolves. Towards the middle and the end of this album, we get the, intermission skit. I believe it was something intermission, and it had Max B in it talking about waves. This is without a doubt sending something to Wiz Khalifa. That's just a good assumption I can make, saying, oh, Kanye, we know you wavy, we know this, that, and the other. I just think he did that to poke at Wiz. But I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't really something I'd listen to again because it's just people talking, but I did think it had its good place in the album. Then we get to the final closing tracks of the album, 3 out of the 4 being singles. 30 Hours, which he dropped just a few days before the album, the Facts remix, and No More Parties in LA, then closing out with the song Fade. And 30 Hours was really interesting song topic-wise, and I did think it was a good song, very college dropout-esque. And he said in the song, and I'm reading my notes as I read this, he says, you was in college complaining that there's no jobs, but you were sucking a guy's dick the whole time, but I guess a blowjob is better than no job. I like that line. I thought it was funny. It reminded me of Eminem's verse, and I believe it was so much better. It was one of the songs on the Marshall Mathers LP2 where it says, if it wasn't for blowjobs, you'd be unemployed. And like I said, the last song being the song Fade, which featured Post Malone and Ty Dolla $ign. Basically just a remix song, not a remix, an auto-tune song. And I wasn't the biggest fan of this song. It was a good way to close. It did have that closing feel to it. Just like Ultralight Beams was my favorite song, but it had a good opening feel to it. And overall, I thought this album was really, really fucking good. And I really, really enjoyed it. I haven't stopped listening to it since I first heard it a few hours ago, and I really think it's great. I've realized in my previous reviews, I feel like I'm too generous with my ratings, so from now fucking on, I'm going to give much better ratings, and I think this one earned its rating. I'm feeling about a good 7 to a light 8 on this. I think 7's a bit more safe, but I think 8 is because I've been listening to it so much. So 7 or 8, either one, great fucking album from Kanye West. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review on Kanye West's The Life of Pablo album. You guys already know, if you want my SoundCloud, my Instagram, any of that, then it will say at the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. This is Infamous A, a.k.a. Infamous Review 617, saying peace out.
Put up them comments, I'm fucking Madonna in the back of an 03 Honda. These boys don't want problems, now motherfucker they don't want conduct. They are not tough, they pussy. Rookie, I got her locked up like the Green Mile.